A German soldier suddenly punched the man in the face. The next second, the man actually spat out a metal from his mouth. Before anyone could react, he turned and rushed to the well, jumping in. The soldiers quickly gathered around to look, but a hand suddenly stretched out from the well. Several of them hurriedly pulled him up. As soon as the man landed, he did several backflips and stood steadily in front of a German officer. The officer looked at him with a cold smile, slowly taking a pear out of his pocket and taking a big bite. The man was not to be outdone. He took out a grenade, bit into it, and chewed it noisily as if it were bread. The surrounding German soldiers immediately tensed up, raising their guns at him. But the man was not worried at all. He skillfully juggled 3 grenades. While the Germans were stunned, the man suddenly dropped the grenades and dashed into the warehouse next to them. The officer was furious and immediately ordered the soldiers to capture this trickster. The soldiers rushed into the warehouse, and the man surrendered with a wooden barrel. He acted like a funny clown, darting around among the soldiers and making them laugh so hard that they completely forgot to be on guard. Taking advantage of the Germans' inattention, the man suddenly squeezed into the barrel. By the time the soldiers lifted the lid, he had already vanished. Under the gaze of dozens of eyes, a grown man had just disappeared into thin air. At that moment, a cat's meow came from the roof. The soldiers looked up and saw that the man had somehow climbed up there and was lying on the eaves like a cat. His performance was so lifelike that even the Germans couldn't help but applaud. Seeing the enthusiastic atmosphere, the man took out a ladder and began performing acrobatics on the roof, one difficult move after another, dazzling the onlookers. Perhaps realizing the man's intentions, the German officer moved behind the hostages hanging on the rack, threatening the man to jump down immediately or he would execute the 2 people. The man had no choice but to agree. Under everyone's watchful eyes, he leaped from the 10-meter-high roof and landed with a loud thud, lying motionless. The soldiers gathered around and kicked him with their feet, finding no response and thinking he was dead. But just as the officer turned his head, the hostages on the rack were gone. Realizing what had happened, the officer immediately shouted for alert. But it was too late. Gunshots rang out suddenly, and the German soldiers fell to the ground in an instant, leaving only a lieutenant standing there in a daze. At that moment, the man who was supposed to be dead suddenly sat up and made a shooting gesture at the lieutenant. Bang!